First I was living in L.A. and Kesey came and got me and took me to Cupertino to Bab's Spread. And they put toothpicks in my eyes and made me watch all of the footage of the bus trip to New York. And that was interesting. And then time went by, and I was putting on this event, Mrs. Gravy and I, not then Mrs. Gravy. We lived on a house in Lemon Grove with the great Del Close. And I had planned this event, the Lord Richard Buckley Memorial Sunset. Lord Buckley being the great raconteur. We set out these maps to Moonfire Mountain that said, "The flowers, yes, the flowers, but the people are the true flowers, and it has been a pleasure to have momentarily strolled in your garden." And there was a map to get to this Moonfire Mountain in Topanga Canyon, owned by Lewis Beach Marvin III, the heir to S&H Green Stamps, and a very exotic place to say the least. And as the event approached, it began to rain, and rain and rain. It's so cold and damp, I started to cough and sneeze, and snot was flowing, but people kept saying, "What are you going to do? What are you going to do?" I said, "Well, let's go to sleep and see how it is in the morning." And I woke up, and it was raining and raining and raining, and I went downstairs, and there were 40 people in Dayglow clothes cooking eggs. The Grateful Dead and the Merry Pranksters had arrived to do their traveling roadshow called "Can You Pass the Acid Test?" And I remember that it's raining and raining until finally I said, "Call off the sunset. Let's all go to this Unitarian church in the valley. They're doing something called the acid test." And so we went there, and history was made. That was the beginning. The most famous of all the acid tests, of course, was the Watts acid test, which was held on the evening of Lincoln's birthday in the area of Watts that was still smoldering from the Watts riots. And the pranksters had rented this huge warehouse. And this was the evening that LSD became illegal. So there were police up the wazoo. And we had these 2 garbage cans, brand new, spanking, galvanized garbage cans filled with Kool-Aid. And I began to address the multitude. I said, "Excuse me, multitude. I'm not really clowning around. The Kool-Aid on the right is the electric Kool-Aid. The Kool-Aid on the left is for the kids. Now let's go over that. Electric Kool-Aid for the kids." And I went over it and over it and over it. But people were dancing for 2-3 hours to the Grateful Dead. They just came out and looked for something wet to drink. And wet was about 300 micrograms a swallow, and people started melting down. And Ken Babs took one of Owsley's best microphones and shoved it down this sister's throat, and she's going, "LSD! Run! Help! Help! LSD! Who cares? Who cares? Who cares?" And I grabbed a mic and I says, "Some sister is unglued, and if you care, meet me where she is, and maybe we can glue her back together again." Then I drop the mic and I start crawling around looking for this, "Who cares?" And it's coming, just every which way, and people are melting, and what a bummer. Till finally in this little side room, There she is. Who cares? And maybe 15 people around her. Maybe I knew 7 of them. And we joined hands, and we turned into jewels and light, and she turned into jewels and light. And that's when I passed the acid test. Like when you get to the very bottom of the human soul, where the net is slamming into the grit and you're sinking. But you reach down to help somebody who's sinking worse than you are. That's when everybody gets high, and you don't even need LSD to do that.